I have taken over OJ's channel.
It's ours now.
We want Squad to go global.
But what's it going to take?
I think that the unfortunate thing about this is that, to me personally, I feel like the game needs a lot before it would be ready for a global audience.
Like more than Brawl Stars?
I think so. That like, well, I don't know. It depends on how quickly the developers are willing to actually like change their focus and perspective and make radical changes. That's how I think.
Okay.
Like Brawl Stars needed to go portrait or from portrait to landscape, right?
I didn't even know it needed that change when it happened. I was shook.
We didn't know. And it took a while before we actually realized that the direction that they were taking Brawl Stars wasn't quite enough. And so what I'm most excited about the fact that this is a 10-day like closed beta is the fact that they can get that feedback very early on, and it doesn't put the pressure of them to continue maintaining a game. They can just close down servers, take all of the feedback, and make radical changes to make it the most amazing game that it can possibly be. So it's actually really good that they're doing it this way, but it just kind of depends on what they're willing to change.
The question is, though, what exactly do they need to change? Or at least from our perspective. For me personally, I mean, I think the game is fun. Like, bottom line, the gameplay is fun.
And the concept is so awesome. Like bringing all of Supercell games together for like an awesome game. That's like dream game for me, right? Like I was so hyped about it.
When I first saw this, I was like, oh my God, you got Greg, Primo, and a Barbarian all helping each other? What is this?
It was like chills. It was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It really was.
Yeah, every character that you know and love, it's like, yeah, they're right there. But the problem, for me at least, is that it just gets too repetitive too quick as it is right now.
Yeah. And I think that hype actually is really great and is captured currently in the game when you very first start playing. But for the people that are watching this video that have not played the game, it just gets a little bit stale over time. To me personally, it feels like I don't have enough control over my characters because you just stop to attack. And maybe they'll attack the right person. Maybe they won't attack the right person.
So do you think there should be more micro in this?
Yeah. And I think that for the people watching, we probably need to define the difference between micro and macro. When it comes to strategies, because that's an old StarCraft 2 reference, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of micro and macro in Clash Royale. Let's say micro in Brawl Stars is aiming stuff, and then the macro of Brawl Stars is controlling your left lane and having spatial awareness.
Conserving your ammo, being aware of bushes and things like that. There's a lot of things that you can do in the middle of the match to be able to like outskill your opponent and either regain control and get the victory, or mess up and lose it, you know?
Macro being the bigger overall picture of the game and what's going on, and micro is the small little things that you do while doing the bigger thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right now I've got economy management for early late game. That's the macro part of it. But I feel like now that I'm second place right now, and there's no way I'm engaging that guy.
There's no way. The only way that you can win at this point, well, you could actually kill that kaiju right there. You could do that. That would help you win.
If he doesn't come over and wreck you.
Then again, the other guy might pick up all the gems. Oh my God,
he threw.
He ran away.
If he camped middle, he would have won.
See, he could have easily won, but he just wasn't paying attention. But it was a decision of, does he stay in the middle or not? And it was that simple. There was no pressure for him to leave the middle. I don't know why he left.
I'm the greatest. Going back to the goblin thing, stealing from auto chess and Clash Mini, what if it didn't punish you for picking the goblin early game and you could star up the goblin, and then you could just start throwing daggers with like a 2-star goblin?
I like it.
For late game.
Anything I think to give it some depth would be a welcome addition, honestly.
Yeah.
I think one of the
Kairos, you got Greg. He's amazing for early game right now, but
he's gonna be so bad later.
Yeah. You almost want him to trail behind and die.
One-star Greg and he could throw his axe like an executioner.
Yeah, it's like, Greg, why are you punching the box? You have an axe. Like, come on. Like, look at this. What is he doing here? It's just funny.
Prison.
The thing is, though,
Greg's level
is that
1.
the deck building for the game, or the squad building or whatever, is my favorite aspect of the game as it is right now.
That's
really
the most
cool.
Fun.
But the issue is with that as well is that it's so random. Like, they need to really invest in the deck building and the squad building and make it so that, you know, maybe they're not willing to adjust combat. I think that they should. I really would like an attack button or something so I can try and have a little bit more control. But at the same time, if they put a lot more work and emphasis into like being able to actually be stronger with deck building, and for that to be a better strategy, I would love that a lot.
How would the attack button work though? Because you would have a barbarian, you would have like a heavy and then a Shelly. Would it just be like a singular aim?
I think that Well, there's a couple different things you can do. For people that don't know, so Shelly has this little ring around her, and it has 2 purple bars. Every single time I kill an opponent, one of those little bars will be filled up, and once it's filled up all the way, then her next attack will actually do a special. So
she has to attack 5 people for her to do that stunning
you
blast.
have to destroy 5 people in order for it to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen right
Yeah.
here. They're going to slam me. So their El Primo was supercharged up.
See,
They're
their
going to win.
Shelly busted yours.
Exactly, because they had the super up. That's like the biggest micro thing in the entire game. I would prefer if you charge up your super abilities and then you're able to hit a button to activate each individual ability. So you have 7 people and you have 7 little abilities for some of them. Maybe not for Greg, but you would for Shelly and Colt and El Primo. But just tap a button to attack like that or save it. And then also another attack that's just like you hold down to attack, let go to not attack.
Okay, no, that works. Yes, I got rerolls. Do you guys know there's rerolls you can buy for 5 gems?
Yeah, I bought some of those. It doesn't feel worth it because you can only do it one time, and it's like, and if it's not a good, if you don't get something good, it's like, well, that was just a complete waste of gems.
See, I feel like they should just give people 5 rerolls every single match, 5 to 10 every match, and then you could play more into deck building because that would actually be like you get to reroll and try and build your deck. That's more fun. That's more exciting. Don't make it a pay to win gimmick. Like, come on.
Going back to right before, one of the things that somebody commented in one of my videos was that what if you had a button where you could swap to different members of your squad to like have them be like the focus of your squad, so you could slightly control them a little bit better, like swapping around. It might get a little bit messy when you get tons of people trying to swap to the right one, but I think the overall point is that you need something to have a little bit more control over what you're doing rather than just running around and cool, I'm going to stop here and we're going to see what happens.
I'm going to circle back a little bit here to what OJ said as far as deck building and being able to just upgrade your barbarian instead of having 2 barbarians. I actually really like that idea paired with the option to be able to activate barbarian abilities or whatever. So that way, if you have 7 barbarians, you're only going to have 1 button to activate all of your barbarians' abilities, and they all activate all at once. You have a little bit of control. I'm thinking like Shelly or El Primo that actually have supers that once they charge up, then they actually, so let's say you get 3 Shellys. Instead of it being 3 individual Shellys, it would be a level 3 Shelly. And then when you tap it, it's like, boom, a level 3 Shelly just super the enemy in the face. They get stunned for longer. It deals more damage. It's stronger. As opposed to like one of your 3 Shellys right now supering and the other 2 didn't have the right charge for it or something like that,
It'd be like Clash Mini where do you build 4 small units or like a 3-star Shelly and a medic to support her? So it's like a kind of a compromise on your team building. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Just in general team building, like we mentioned before, that is the most fun part of the game in my opinion. But also, I think that they could do more with like different synergies, like how the Barbarian King will empower all the melee characters. I think that they could dive further into better synergies between squad members.
Like the chicken and the hog rider are like the most OP combination for running away.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Which, by the way, you pick chicken late game if you want to cower in fear because you're not going to beat the first place person. There needs to be like a comeback mechanic. I would almost prefer having to star up because Lex has 3 primos right now. If you have the jumps, you could triple stun them like crazy. And I find that when there's like a quadruple Shelly, triple primo comp, I'm not messing with that because they're going to perma stun me.
This is one of the most frustrating parts of the game here is that there's 0 chance that I can win this. There's just no way.
There's nothing.
You're third place.
I can do.
You can't engage anyone. If you engage, you're going to die and you're going to finish less than 3rd.
And even if you have enough gold or even keys to open up chests, where are the chests? Like you can't find the chests.
Them.
You can't do anything.
And late game, the arena is so big that no one's really engaging anything.
I've got an idea.
Maybe the chests could spawn faster so that it's less punishing when you do die.
What about this? Okay. Once you get enough coins or keys to open up a chest, instead of going to a chest, you're just able to upgrade one of your current squad members. So it's like you either upgrade or you go find a chest. So there's going to be more chests available for you to be able to find new squad members. And you might even go with a giant squad member of like level 1s or something like that. There's so many actually different ways that the developer team could actually take it so that they could more heavily lean into deck building or squad building, and also more into giving players more control so that they could actually win with skill. I will say though, I freaking love the home screen. It is downright adorable. It's so fun. In fact,
I really like it.
I actually wish, so they only show the ones that are available in the current world. Right now I'm in Desert World, so it's not showing the Goblin or Greg, and I wish that it showed all of them.
But clearly they have at least 5 worlds because there's those 5 posts right above the well there.
This post right here, yeah.
So
you've got
there's at least 5 worlds that they have, but we haven't seen 3 of them.
This wouldn't really help with the game going global, I don't think, but buying decorations would be kind of fun.
It would.
Oh my gosh,
would.
OJ, this just blew my mind. I hope the developers are taking notes here.
Unless that does make it go global.
Maybe that's all this game needs.
I mean, look at Gardenscape. It's a match 3 game, and they have decorations.
But I still think that the 2 biggest problems with the game right now is A, it's repetitive after a while, and then B, and that's just that like the combat itself doesn't feel very satisfying.
There's not enough depth to it. And perhaps it's because we're only on World 2. Like, maybe they're going to have more eventually. But at the same time, I didn't really want to play that much past day 2.
I feel like because there's not enough modes.
Yeah. Oh, I really want more modes.
To be fair, they have duos that they haven't unlocked yet, but I don't think that's the oomph that I'm looking for.
If it's the same game mode, just the gem hunt or whatever, then it feels like that's cool. That'd be fun. But it's still just a variation of the same game mode. It's still the same game mode, just with a twist.
Or what other features do you think will help this game go global?
Well,
we've got you could power up the abilities. You could use the abilities like you were saying, new game modes.
Well, and those are things that those are solutions to problems. But it really comes down to the problems. There's not enough variety. There's not enough emphasis on actually being able to build the squad the way that you want to. There's not enough micro ways for you to try and actually perform better combat-wise to be able to take out enemies. And there's too many times when I feel like there's nothing I can do to really win. They might want this to be a casual game. All 3 of us, we're kind of hardcore sweaty gamers. We want strategy, we want depth, we want all these different things. Maybe they're aiming this towards a more casual audience.
And that's perfectly fine too.
That's perfectly fine. But the issue with that is that Super's whole goal is to create games that as many people will play as possible. And that means
for as long as possible.
For as long as possible. Absolutely. In order for them to actually be able to do that, they have to make the game deep enough for the hardcore, sweaty Supercell fans. And Clash of Clans, sweaty, nerdy gamers play Clash of Clans. Clash Royale, even sweatier gamers play that. The Brawl Stars, the sweatiest of reflex play. There's so many different things. We are very competitive players, and Squad Busters does not yield to that. I'm super fine with the casual game. It needs a lot more strategic depth in it so that we can either win mechanically, win through smarts, well, preferably both of those things. Deck building fixes the strategic aspect of it, and then more complex fighting mechanics helps with the mechanic side of things. This one game mode, even this game mode with 2 people playing duos, not enough. I want a tower defense. I want a 5v5. I want a lot of different things that they could do. I want a game mode where you're literally like farming with Greg and what's the other hated person? Her name's like Mavis or something like that. I want Greg and Mavis and the chicken to be all about farming, and you have to like fight the infestation or whatever. Like, there's so many different things that they could do.
What if that expanded on the deck building and you had a whole Heyday squad and that gave you synergies? Kind of like
that would be awesome.
Kind of like auto chess. I keep going back to auto chess.
Well, that's because auto chess is a deck builder. That's what it is. And this game at its core is a deck builder as well.
So to recap, for this game to go global, it needs to have players that want to stick around. And to stick around, it has to be a fun game that has more modes, maybe more depth of strategy, more mechanical strategy, like the micro of everything, and just like being able to control more things. A better comeback mechanics, not punishing to engage late game, more game modes.
Something that lets players show off skill more.
And more deck building and even more macro strategy. We need more deck building, more options to be able to choose and build things the way that we want to.
More synergies between different troops to, enable, some creative combinations.
We're open to suggestions in the comments as well, because at the end of the day, this game is not going to go global unless people stick around.
And more chickens. We need more chickens.